We got a lot to cover
No,
here.
no, it's correct, yes.
It's my glasses.
Okay, number 43, regarding cats. Vinny, do you want to talk about this?
Yes, I fielded a complaint about a cat that was known to have an owner with it on the street. The cat constantly sets off neighbors' ring doorbells, as we were talking about earlier, and also interrupted a family event on Father's Day weekend. She called the police department. The police department says we have nothing that covers that. And they talked to a dispatcher who knew, because they've had the complaints before. Officer stopped, I believe, and talked to them. And I talked to the law department, Mr. Gadetti, and he says, he looked it up like immediately and says, no, everything but cats is covered. So we decided that we should probably include cats and also extend it a little bit that we do not feed feral cats or any other animals that would draw other animals, as in raccoons, skunks, and so forth, and hopefully we put an end to some of the issues that may come up, that have come up in the past. In talking to the police chief, I talked to Chief Yakupovich, and he says some years ago, he says he doesn't remember if you or I were elected yet, but they had a house that had like 30 cats hanging around it, and they were feeding.
Because they were feeding them.
So that's the gist of that. So we put together and we amended 505 to cover that.
You know, feral cats don't have a tag, well, depending, I have to tell you. It's either Myrtle Beach or another beach in Carolina. They use feral cats, Afton tag, because they go out and get all the pests.
Oh, yeah.
So they
It's
get
on
all
purpose.
the mice, the
Yeah.
rats. I've had a complaint about rats. They keep everything away from the beach. They are a value. We have one feral cat in our, we think he's passed away. Only one person fed him, and he did exactly that, which is what our cat had done. So I think we need to get maybe some feelings from all the residents. This may be one person, and we're gonna create a law for one person?
But it does stay in here, Jan, it's only for feral cats. If it has a known owner, it's not a problem.
Well, yeah, they're still liable to keep their cat confined, though.
It says right here, within 100 yards of private residence public, a feral cat is any cat that is wild, strayed, or does not have a known owner. A feral cat does not constitute a pet by reason of an individual feeding it. A domestic cat turned wild shall be considered feral.
How do you tell if it's domestic or feral?
Well, if nobody,
Not
if
every
if
cat.
if somebody's cat gets picked up by the police department and nobody claims it, then it's a wild.
Typically, a person will be able to show ownership somehow, whether it's adoption or,
No.
you know.
I mean, not every
society or
animal
whatever.
is tagged. I'm not sure Rudy is. He doesn't go out in the yard.
I think the bigger piece to this too, though, is to keep in mind that there are some folks that are feeding wild animals, and they're a problem. I mean, you live in somewhat my area, so the skunks
Well, I
are
live in
an
the
issue.
deer.
Some people are feeding raccoons
The
and
other thing I
skunks.
hate to say, the deer keep the fox and the chipmunks. That's why I like feral cats. That chipmunks that build their hole in our cement wall, and they get rid of rats.
There's other methods. There's other methods to keep chipmunks and rats out of your home other than letting feral cats run through a neighborhood. And this is more of an issue with, people letting their pet cats run. It came up initially with the issue, the beginning of the ordinance, not the feral cat issue, but the beginning of the ordinance with having to keep your cat on your property, just like people with dogs have to keep them on their property.
Here's the other side of that, Jan. Okay, it's a feral cat, and it's causing me problems in my yard, but we can't do anything about that. But if I take and I destroy that cat, I can be charged with cruelty to animals.
You can catch the cat and take them, or you can call Summit County, they come and get them.
Oh,
I've been
and
trying
what's
to
the
get
time span of that, Chief?
We typically use Pepperidge Kennels for our service. We have a contract with them.
Okay.
We don't use Summit County.
Okay.
But you
If
got
they
one-
provide that service, we don't use them. They may still come up as.
You got
as
one
soon as
person
next year.
complaining.
over the years, we've had
Not
a
of the
lot of
whole-
complaints about this. This ordinance actually came up years ago, because it's, over the years, we get a lot of complaints about it.
Thank you.
I mean, you
We
remember
get
the
less
last time we
outdoor
discussed
cat 'cause
this?
he got all
Jan, I
the,
mean, you were on council when we discussed
Yes.
it. You might have been also, Mayor.
I was, I remember.
One of the other things to note that this does, specifically the section prohibiting the feeding of wild animals, it increases the penalties. It was a straight minor misdemeanor. Now, if somebody has a conviction and then catches a second charge within a 1-year period from that conviction, it increases it to a 4th-degree misdemeanor. And then for any third and subsequent offense, it's a 3rd-degree misdemeanor. So just be aware of that too, that's part of this.
Well, we'll definitely keep this on first read.
does that mean we need to take all our bird feeders down?
No, it's
Seriously?
Birds are, no, it's
Birds are
actually in
excluded,
the, it's in
yeah.
the statute, yeah, it's exempted.
Keep them on a-
We're gonna keep this on the first read?
Yeah,
So it'll
first
take
read.
about 3 months to pass.
yeah. I mean, we've gone without it for this long, Vinny.
I'm sure,
We can go
but
without it for the next 3
I thought
months.
this was gonna be a little simpler than that, but
Well, it's important to have the residents' feelings too.
that's how it got
This isn't
started.
just one person.
That's how it got started. I referenced to the police department, had an extended conversation with the police chief about this. So it's not just one resident, it's happened before, and even.
With a
that
different
person.
resident?
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, that's years ago. There aren't any
But we do
around.
get complaints. I mean, this is not something that's, I'm not saying we get it every week like a dog at
Right.
large, but I mean, it happens quite a bit. you know.
Marco Farrell?
People complain about cats coming over and tearing up their
Criminal
flower
matters.
bed, using it like a litter box, or, you know, things like that.
How many times do you want your Ring doorbell ringing and finding it's the cat sitting on your front stoop?
I don't know.
All right, move along to 44, the new trash contract. Director Wilson, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, thank you. This is, as you mentioned, the new trash contract for the next 5 years, and then 5 years after that is a year-to-year contract. We had 2 bidders come to the table, Waste Management and Kimball. I think it's pretty simple. Kimball was the lowest bidder, and they did not change the contract at all, or the bid document at all. They had no changes. Everything basically stays, really does stay the same as it is currently. Waste Management had quite a few changes. They offered an alternate contract, and their price was, I would say, considerably higher. And really, in my opinion, the price didn't go up that much, all things considered, with Kimball's bid. So I recommend approve Kimball for the contract.
Quick question. The price is better. Do they bring us new garbage cans?
Yes.
Or, and what do we do with the old ones?
So do we have to
That's-
return, yeah, how do we return
that's-
the old
Yeah, what do
ones?
we do with the old ones?
We'll have to work that out with Republic, but it is in the contract that they'll deliver us basically the same 95 gallon, right?
95 and
Two
65.
options.
So you get a 95, 65.
I realize that there's a senior concern with, there's a need for a smaller can so I just want to put that out there. I'm going to have all those conversations with Kimball. Kimball has been super responsive. He called me today. They've already developed a good relationship, and they really want to work with us and just like deal with all the little things that come up here and there. Yeah, I'm sure we'll have to work it out with Republic that they'll pick up
So it begins
the
December.
cans and
Becomes December 1st, right?
yeah.
Okay. And then, are they gonna send us a letter of your schedule is this?
The schedule is in the contract remains the same.
So
Oh,
when
wow.
they'll send it to
So
everyone?
When
the
we-
schedule
when we
is the
put
same?
When we put the bid specs together, it's exactly what we have today. That's what Director Wilson was
Okay.
referring to. Everything, the roads and the days all remain the same.
Oh, that's
Well,
cool.
and yeah, we added some protections for those winter missed pickups that.
Right, when they have the, it's inclement weather, we're not gonna pick it up, so I added into there that, you're
Right.
gonna give back if you're not picking up, because that's, the weather's bad, doesn't mean you skip a week.
Yeah,
I was
they
really
won't-
irritated
They
by
won't bill
that.
for that pickup or whatever, but other than that's really the only change that we're
And a big piece with the other ones too, like if you throw out like say a refrigerator.
And they're doing.
All of them are doing that thing now where you have to have a person come out, remove the refrigerant, tag it, take the doors off, put it out. Well, they're not doing that. So you can still put it out, take the doors off, but you don't have to hire someone to remove the refrigerant, put it out in your lawn and all that. So basically, everything we have to, I was very surprised, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was very surprised that we got what we did, and I think you were too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just-
So the color of the cans will be the same?
I don't know the
No,
colors.
they're not the same.
I don't know.
No,
Kimball's
I'm
green,
not sure.
green
Kimball's
and,
green, they're bright green.
green and blue.
But everything else, like bulk pickup,
Everything's the
you
same.
can put extra bags out next to your can.
Yeah,
They'll pick up everything and, you know, again, it's,
putting out the,
have to be somewhat considerate, but, you know,
Right,
we run
yeah.
into different instances of problems, but it's the same what we have, everything's the same as we have today. The only difference is our costs are going up, and, I mean, quite honestly, I thought it was gonna go up more than I was surprised they went that low.
Oh,
I'm actually
absolutely,
pleased,
Absolutely, I mean,
because everyone else, you see what Waste Management put through.
the
It's-
other prices were pre-COVID and all that, I mean.
so you can still put
as
out
much as everything's gone
mattresses.
up.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is the
I'm
current
amazed
price under-
sometimes
Yeah, what
when
is
I
the
see
current-
that.
I couldn't find that.
They currently
It's always around
44 a
44,
quarter, so it's probably
16
something like,
something.
16.
And 1680 or something, and now it's gonna be 1895, so
Yeah, there are times I see stuff, I was like, what?
a couple bucks.
You're asking them to, they gotta get out and look at
How
every
many
individual.
years are we getting into the contract?
It's a 5-year contract with a 5-year option, so it's on our option,
Okay.
and it's yearly.
Well,
Kinda
the
like
price
the
is
same.
good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So let's do 1, 2, 3 on this so we can start getting that settled if it passes.
1, 2, 3, A. Adopt.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
I thought she was being Canadian.
Not A, A.
PH.
All right, next is the Longwood Park driveway improvement bid. Joe?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
speak on that. So this is to award the contract to pave the driveway at Longwood Park, as well as to pave 2 driveways that lead to the rec center parking lot. There's also some drainage issues that exist along that driveway, so we're gonna clean all of those up as part of this project, and would ask for a 3rd read, please, so we can get it going.
I know that we had a resident that uses the park had asked us about widening the main drive, or at least down by the circle, widening to make more room for walking. That would be a huge expense, right? In this resident's mind, it was just throw a little extra on there,
Yeah.
but Jason and I both told him it would be a huge expense.
Yeah, so it's an expense. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of doing that anyways, so
Okay.
not part of this project.
Encouraging people to walk on the road.
Right next to where the cars are driving, yeah, the park's plenty big enough.
I just
Other
wanted
places
to make
walk.
sure that we address that that's not an option, just, we have this bid, just throw that in there.
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
All right, let's do 1, 2, 3 on that so we can get that project finished, and this will be scheduled then for
It'll be late August or September,
sometime before Fall Fest, so as not to interrupt Fall Fest.
after summer camp, before Fall Fest.
I like it, thank you.
Oh, make it
It's
summer
in the
camp
budget
so
too,
they
right?
can run through.
It is in the
all
budget.
that shit.
It would be like touch a truck if they do it during summer camp. All right, next is for the ambulance. Want to talk about the ambulance?
Yeah, thank you. We're asking for the funding for the purchase of a new ambulance/rescue squad from Morton Emergency Vehicles. Currently, right now, our oldest ambulance we have in Macedonia is from 2009. It has about 130,000 miles on it, and we're starting to dump money into it. We just have some of the major engine components rebuilt, and actually, funding for this would coincide with the chief's 5-year plan. So we're asking for a 1, 2, 3 on this also.
So your Ford is failing.
Oh, that's it.
2009 Ford is failing. That's good. Good job on that Ford
If I
lasted
said
that
it
long.
was like Chrysler.
Oh, it wouldn't be failing, we would have a
Mayor
conversation.
Stellantis is not looking good recently. They just
So-
announced some brand clues.
The chief had mentioned that you were adding cots into this order, but I didn't see it on the order.
Part of the cost is the $60,000 from the cot and cot loading system.
So that is included in the price that we're seeing on the contract.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is to approve purchasing, and then another one's coming to approve the dollars, the way I read this.
Yeah, that won't be till 2027.
Remember the chief had talked about this too, that they're doing this early because the 3-year.
Save like $100,000
I guess-
on it or something?
Yeah, I could speak on that too.
Because
If
it's-
you order it now, it's a problem throughout the whole fire service, even with fire trucks. You order one now, you won't get it till 4 years later. If you order this 25, you're not gonna get it till 27, so technically you're driving a 2-year-old vehicle by the time you get it.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
The problem with that is the warranties start in 25.
Oh, man.
So that's why it's like, okay, we gotta order this before it gets stretched out too far.
All right, good planning. I like it. All right, let's do 1, 2, 3 on that, please, so we can get that rolling. The next is the citywide signage, phase 2. Mayor, do you want to talk on that?
Sure, so we've been working on this for quite some time. I brought it up to you all before. It's the city signage package that we've been working on that we're coming into fruition now, so we're kind of at the finish line to get things moving. A lot of the old signs are in need of repair. They're kind of rotted, the wood in them are no good. Retro reflectivity type signs that are just somewhat archaic. The big thing with these are, we put these signs up with metal, or not metal, brick. We won't have to touch these for 50, 75 years. I mean, some of the long, when we're all probably off this earth, we'll probably have to deal with it, and it's just putting us into the future with that. We did budget for this. This is just, again, moving forward with it.
So it's in the budget already?
Yes, we budgeted for this.
Then I noticed that it looks like you were slightly changing the locations of the signs, moving them further back, which
There-
I think seems good.
There's some things
Yeah.
that Director Gelati had determined made more sense for safety reasons.
Yeah.
Another thing I'll tell you guys too, we kind of re-engineered them a little bit because if a car hits it, we want them to break away. We don't want them to just, drive into a brick wall.
You want a cartoon crumble?
So there's a lot of factors that go into this, and Mr. Gelati can probably talk about it ad nauseum, but anything
No,
I'm
you
missing?
don't want to listen to me talk about it.
Well, thank you for noticing that they did need to be moved back. I actually
got
did
it.
have someone complain one time a while ago about the one on Route 8.
okay.
I've never, yeah, that they were hard to see, so I noticed that you moved them back a little bit, and they're a little bit smaller in width, so that should be helpful. Speaking of signage, is a new sign for Sugar Bush part of your sign phase 3 that matches maybe the nice new Manor House one?
Yeah, we're not doing everything all at once. We're trying to phase this thing, so yes.
But Sugar Bush, it really needs a sign that is perpendicular to the road, because you don't know it's there until you've passed it.
We will definitely get that for next year.
Okay, so
It's not gonna happen this year.
put that in section 3
There is money in the 5-year capital plan for next year.
for the phase 3 for this,
Or
or
whatever-
specifically Sugar Bush?
whatever.
I
Okay.
don't think we're getting all in this year. There's
Yeah.
some more we have to
Right.
do, but
That-
we're trying to do this in a reasonable
Yeah,
fashion.
there still are signs in the master plan that are not a part of phase 1 or phase 2, so
Okay.
they'd be picked up in a phase 3 or even phase 4 if we have to go that far.
And this one also puts a sign in front of the Manor House, and so you all know if you didn't, I think
Yeah, it's a nice looking sign. yeah,
it
it's
matches
on
the
there.
Tudor styling, so it puts that implement into the sign. I think it's gonna be a nice thing, and the Longwood Manor Historical Society has long asked for a sign that's conducive. The one that's there, we kind of did what we could do to get it through, but that's not working too well.
All right, any further questions on this? Let's do 1, 2, 3 on this, so we can get more signage. Okay, number 48, Walters Road project, Joe?
Yeah, this is to award the contract to pave Walters Road, south of Twinsburg Road, way down at the south end of the city. We're recommending specialized construction. We've worked with them plenty of times before. It's a joint project with Northfield Center Township, 50/50. We also got half of the total cost of the project paid for through OPWC. So, and if we could have a 1, 2, 3 for this one as well, so we can have the contract signed.
Yeah, this is no surprise. We
For
talked
the
about
mayor
this
and
several
Mark, the
times.
budgeted amount was $311.
Oh,
We want to make the budget be balanced 0.
It's a fantastic
Okay.
thing to say.
Looks like
311.
this one.
All right, next is the Kroger settlement. Mr. Veras, you want to mention that?
I'll pass that along because it's not a lot of money we're getting.
Yeah, it's really almost identical to the prior opioid litigation settlements that you guys have approved as part of the One Ohio MOU, part of the national settlement. The long and short of it is the city will get a little bit amount paid out over 10 years. We don't know what that will be precisely. It's based on who participates, that kind of thing, similar formulas to last time.
Are there any more like these coming down the road, do you know?
You have to make a different fund for each one, don't you? Or a
I'm
different
putting
line?
them all into an opioid fund,
There may be,
basically.
yeah, there may be.
All right, let's do 1, 2, 3 on
And this
that.
doesn't guarantee, it just means you're applying.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah, it still has to get approved by
So
the
you
court and
can't
everything.
get excited, yeah,
No.
just apply.
All right, next is the multi-hazard mitigation plan for Summit County. Anyone want to talk about this?
I'd love to.
Okay.
This is the consent litigation legislation, housekeeping to allow ODOT to proceed.
No, this one
No.
is,
This
So
is
this-
Summit County business.
So which one am I on?
You-
Do you say
Oh,
50?
I missed one.
Yeah.
Are you on 50 or 51?
I am now on 50.
Well, I just explained 50. I'll go
Thank you.
51 if you'd like.
Do we have any questions on 50?
Does this give it a turn lane that actually works?
Yeah.
So we are on 50
Yeah, I'm
Highland
sorry.
Valley View
I'm sorry, Joe.
intersection.
It's
That's
Mayor,
okay.
right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so this is standard, I guess I'll call it housekeeping paperwork we have to do with ODOT to allow the project to move forward. The one thing I will mention to the group, and I know we've mentioned this before, but it's been a while, this particular project will be administered by ODOT, not by us. So once it goes to construction, we turn the reins over to ODOT, just so everyone is aware of that. Hence the reason we need the document here tonight.
And that gives left turn on Highland?
There will be left turn lanes in all 4 directions.
Ooh. Wow.
Because the other day I went down, there were 15 semis.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
all?
I believe
They're all
it.
coming, yeah, well, they're all coming from Twinsburg.
Yeah.
We're going to.
All right, so let's do 1, 2, 3 on that. That's just some paperwork to sign. Now we're on to 51, Summit County multi-hazard mitigation.
Are you sure?
I hope, let's just put it out there, see if anyone speaks on it.
This
Let's
is
talk
the
about it again.
reviewing the updated, it's reviewing and updating the existing plan. So it's essentially the agreement we have with the county for multi-hazard mitigation. Nothing too exciting, and I don't think anyone found anything
There's very few changes.
Well,
earth-shattering.
and you'll have this again before you in 5 years from now, because there's a statutory review period for it, so.
Okay. Let's get that 1, 2, 3, please. Next is putting out bids for the recreation renovation improvement project. Mr. Chaddick, do you want to talk about that?
Sure, so we're just encompassing the renovation to be what we talked about years ago, which was converting the old women's locker room into a family changing room that we will ultimately design somewhere around 4 pods to be put into there, plus some open space, and then also going upstairs and removing the front desk on the 2nd floor that I couldn't really tell you what that was designed for 20 years ago, 24 years ago, 25. We're gonna remove that desk because there is no security in the upstairs staffing area. People can just jump that desk, come back there, we have 2 open workstations there. So we're going to enclose that and build 3 offices in that back area. So we've coupled this together as one big project. We'd like to go find someone to do this project for us.
This has been in the 5-year plan.
This is part of the
for a long time,
pre-planned
yeah.
capital, yes.
Did you upgrade the upstairs track?
The upstairs track has not been upgraded because a handful of years ago it was redone because there was a cleaning company that did some stuff they shouldn't have done and put acid on it.
Okay.
So it's 8 or 10 years ago that was done. We're investigating it now. Currently, I can tell you it cost about $49,599 because I had it quoted in 2023. And that was what we got. And I'm being serious, I'm not being
Yeah.
funny, that was for real.
I used
And
to
it was-
train there all the time. I always
Okay.
got a call if I wasn't there at 6:30. But I did 10,000, and it's just had some problems. So I didn't know if we got it all resolved and it's back again.
It's not having any problems, it's just a matter of keeping it clean and getting the cleaning crew to do the appropriate mixture of water versus soap. That would be the problem. It's a people problem, not a functionality.
All right, we'll do 1, 2, 3 on that, so
Are we
can
doing
get that
one of those
going.
choices?
All right, the next is the proper, or controlling property on the Valley View intersection. Joe was gonna talk about that.
Sure, so to go back to Highland Valley View intersection, this second piece of legislation we have here tonight, as you can imagine, to widen the pavement, to widen the intersection for the new turn lanes, we have to purchase little strips of land across the front of all of the properties that are near the intersection. There's 10 properties total involved. 6 of those property owners have agreed with us to the purchase price, and that's all good. 4 of the properties have not agreed. So we need this piece of legislation tonight to go to, so we can do the appropriation process, which basically allows the project to move forward and the exact dollar amount to be settled later, if that's a good
Yeah,
layman's
to
terms.
probate court
Yeah.
if necessary. We'll still try to work it out with the remaining 4. And the city's actually met with some of them and had some discussions, and for whatever reason, there hasn't been communications back from the property owners. But we'll continue working on that, try to save the city a little bit of cash, so to speak, by short-circuiting the process that way through a settlement.
How far down on Valley View and Highland each way to go?
Well,
That needs the property.
it's a few hundred feet, so, you know, depends.
There was a map exhibit. Did you-
Yeah,
did
there
you
is a
get the
map in there, it kind of shows you, so.
The one side goes to Shepherd,
It'll be the first page.
Did Mr. Barker say yes?
doesn't go down that far.
The house is right on
I
the
think you have the
corner.
wrong intersection.
Yeah, that's the
Which-
wrong
You know,
intersection.
Well, you're talking about Shane Barker.
Yeah.
No, this is Highland and Valley View intersection.
Yeah,
Shane's
this-
at Twinsburg Valley View intersection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a map
Thank you.
there.
No brain.
All right, let's do this 1, 2, 3, so you can
Yeah,
move
please
on
do.
with that project. That project's summer of 2025?
2025, correct.
All right, the next 3 are related, yes? And
Mm-hmm.
Mark's gonna explain them? Mayor's gonna explain? Who wants to
I
explain?
can give you the first piece of it. Essentially, it's a PACE loan. It's done through NOPEC. They're looking for $1 million. The reason they go through the PACE loan is that it's a low interest, I believe, 3% on a 15-year, which is a phenomenal rate given the financial market right now. We do have representatives here from NOPEC that are going to speak during public comments regarding that, but in terms of legislation, the city is a security through the special assessment.
So who is looking for this loan?
This is B&B Theaters, and it's going to be in reference to, I believe, the
Projection.
So
So it has to be something related to energy.
So B&B is gonna get a loan for energy efficiency in their theater. NOPEC is gonna grant them a loan at 3%, and the city is going to back up that loan through special assessment if needed, right? So if some,
Ensure the
Ensure the-
payment obligation of the theater, not the city, of the theater, through the special assessment that you're implementing through the 3rd piece of legislation.
the special assessment's gonna go through the county, and then, so the B&B is gonna pay the county through their taxes,
Right.
and then the taxes are gonna go directly to NOPEC to pay
Right.
off this loan.
Yeah, so the 2 big highlights, I think, for the city's purpose, one, there's no financial exposure whatsoever to the city by enacting these 3 pieces of legislation. And then from an administrative perspective, Mr. Barris had confirmed with the county that exactly what you just said, the city's not gonna act as a clearinghouse or a pass-through. The county will primarily handle that directly with the owner.
And that, so 44, or 54, 55, and 56 do have to be passed in order, but they're all to the same point,
Correct.
to the same end.
Right.
They're just
Legal jargon.
And I did attend the ESID meeting, which was June 3rd down in Akron. And everybody unanimously approved it, and then I mentioned a little bit about the theater and that they shall come.
And you do have to have a master's in finance to understand all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the revised code, and it's something that's done throughout the state of Ohio. This is something that's administered locally through NOPEC, essentially.
And basically, the reason that we're involved is so that if the building changes hands, the loan still gets paid off through the tax assessment. And nobody can assess tax other than the city.
Correct.
Right.
So that's how I understand it. Does everyone else understand it? Are we following it?
Appreciate that explanation.
All right. So let's do 1, 2, 3 on 54, 55, and 56, so we can get these people their fancy energy
Projection.
efficient projection and get our theater in. All right, and the final piece is 57. Mayor, do you want to talk about this?
Sure, this is a conservancy for Empire Parkway. I've been working with a young lady by the name of Hannah, who will be here tonight to speak about this again during public comments. But basically, this is the first step into making this conservancy, and then at some point there'll be further conversation as to whether or not the city wants to take that. Am I hitting that correctly?
Yeah, this would just be to support their application for grant funding to acquire the property.
So there's some property within the city limits that these people want to have a conservation on, and they want to go through the county to do that, the county land bank.
Yeah, and out of fairness to the city, they came to the administration and said, hey, is this something you have an issue with? Hopefully I'm not saying anything you're uncomfortable with, but we reached out to Mr. Gelati to look at it, just to make sure, hey, is the city losing out on potential future economic development? The property has significant wetlands and/or it is in the floodplain, really hard to develop, so it's unlikely that it ever would have been developed,
So these folks are going for a grant to conserve this space, and they are asking that we support the project, and then our support of the project will help them in their pursuit of the grant.
And what's the project doing to the creek? Leaving it as a creek in the wetlands?
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
around it?
That's the
Okay.
goal of their
Yeah.
project.
There's not gonna be another fast food
No,
restaurant?
that's what they're going against.
Car wash.
Yeah.
similar.
Now.
The acquisition that will be funded with Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program grant funds will protect and manage the property and its natural resources, in one of Mark's favorite words, perpetuity.
That means forever.
No more house.
All right.
Does this have a map, or do we know where this is?
Are we allowed to say, like,
I don't think it's really exactly determined, but it is to the west and a little bit to the south of the Bedford anodizing site.
Okay.
so it's between Bedford and Diving and the
But it would
freeway?
not.
And if you look at it
impact-
even on the satellite, you can see it's goopy.
But it would not impact that potential development there.
Yeah, so you can, so it's just a corner of the Bedford.
Okay.
All right, so let's do 1, 2, 3, because these folks got to get their thing, and they're going to talk to us a little bit more about it before the meeting. And Nino wanted to talk about the sidewalk program.
Well, actually, I think we kind of put it on the back burner a little bit. I think we have some people here tonight that are kind of a little upset about it. Am I correct here?
That was an assumption. You can talk about it.
What I'd like to say is there is an area on the northeast corner that we have kind of identified as project for next year. There is about 141 homes there, and I would like to start sooner rather than later. I know last year, we're doing inspections of the sidewalks in the middle of the winter. Some of them were raised because they were frozen. And then when we revisit them again in the spring, that, with the thaw, some of those were down already. So number one, I think we're better off doing it in, maybe September, October. And then, we can go for bid in the middle of the winter when I think we can get a more favorable price because the contractors already have a full schedule like they pretty much did this year. So instead of that, I would, like to propose that we start this program, as soon as possible so that we can, get it going, at least start the movement and see if, the funds are available for, this next phase and basically move forward with it.
Were we ready to do 3 years in a row?
We were
with the-
putting it
you were
in
ready to
the,
go?
yeah,
Okay.
5-year plan.
So, yeah, that sounds like a benefit to the residents to do it this way, to, have it done before the snow comes, before things freeze,
Right.
and to try and get a better price, so.
Correct.
And we've been communicating what I feel is almost excessively, just so everyone's aware. We sent out letters for this in March. The second one went out, I believe, in May, and the third in June.
Yes.
So we've been communicating, and what Nino's trying to do is get ahead of this thing even more to just try and get this out now, so there's no big surprise coming from anybody.
Is that for the second phase, or are you
This
selling down
is
the
for, we did that in phase 1.
Okay.
Now we're going into phase 2,
Yeah, so
because we
phase
can't do
one
them all
is
at once.
completed, in that they're starting August 1st to do the.
Where's
So nothing's
phase-
changing with
Where's
phase one?
phase two?
Right.
No.
Okay.
Phase 2 is where?
They will be on the northeast corner of the city.
Yeah, Park Ledge. Park Ledge.
Oh, okay.
And again, the area that we did first was the most severe, that's why we're trying to do that. Keeping in mind, because this is a hot topic right now in town, I'm sure you all have heard about it. This didn't happen by chance, this is within our code. I've had many people in my area come to me and say, I can't even walk on the sidewalk, that's why I walk on the road. Jan, you have talked to me about this extensively about how much of a problem it is. I mean, we're at the point of this needs to be rectified, and I want to point out something too, and I believe Mark's going to talk about this tonight, what a right-of-way is. I think there's a lot of misunderstandings as to what a right-of-way is. If you own a home, your Devil's Strip or your tree lawn is not owned by the city. The tree that resides within that area is not owned by the city. That is your property. The sidewalk is their property too. This is something that's been in our code forever. Our code also says that you have to be responsible to repair that. What's a little bit frustrating is that even if that tree had been there from day one, from a sapling to what it is today, over 20 years, that thing, you had to watch it start to rise and, become a problem. Kids can't ride bikes, you can't ride scooters, with all the electric things the kids are on now, including my son, it's just not gonna happen. So I think there's a misunderstanding of how that works, and there's a lot of blame being placed on the tree that was planted there. I can't go back 40, 50 years and tell you who planted the tree. It may have been the city, it may not have been the city. I really don't know. But even if it was planted by us, it's still the responsibility of the property owner. And that's the thing that we need to convey to everybody. If that tree is in fact causing that problem, I would ask that they contact City Hall, more specifically the building department, and they can make the determination if that's the tree causing it, and we can help them potentially remove that tree. Not saying we're gonna do it, but we'll say, yes, that tree is a problem, we could remove that.
Are you already removing trees? Because I got a call from
We are not
someone
removing any trees.
saying a tree's being removed. Are they only doing certain trees?
The city is not removing any trees.
Can a resident
They're
opt to
removing one.
remove the tree on their own, or will the city compel them to put another one back in?
No.
The
we're
city
not-
does not make people.
I didn't know if
plant
there's an
trees.
ordinance, if that
Yeah, we're-
requires us to have trees, that's what I was asking.
There's a little history to that, that's why I think you just get a little giggly with that, myself too. We're not in the tree business.
Right.
It's the responsibility of the property owner to remove, and if they want to plant another tree,
Good to know.
they can plant a
Okay,
tree.
can I ask a question to that effect?
Sure.
Because I've had two issues come to my attention in the past 2 weeks. Number one, the tree issue. Somebody was told they can't cut the tree down. They can't remove the tree.
So was that person
Yeah.
referred to City
The
Hall?
one in.
Yeah, who is
and it's
telling
only the
people
one-
that they can't
no,
cut a tree
I'm
down?
talking about the ones in the
Yeah.
tree lawn that the city put in over 20 years ago.
If the tree is causing a problem, we're not unreasonable people, and I'm sure Nino will reflect what I'm saying. If it's a problem, you can remove the tree.
And we are very lenient. Just to fill you in on this program, I had about 60 calls. Out of the 60, I visited 51 residents, and I
I was gonna say,
explained
that's all.
how the program worked. And after I was done explaining to them, they were pretty calm. There was a few of them that even complimented us because one guy said, I have a daughter who rides a little tricycle up and down, and she fell a few times. So it's needed, it's necessary. Not every, you have a few that are very vocal, that may express an opinion, all over the place. But the majority of the people out there, I think they really understand that it's a needed program.
Vinny, what was your other concern? You said you got concerns about trees?
That answers that one.
Before you move on, if I could just throw a quick, I would strongly encourage if a resident wants to go out and cut down a tree, I would strongly encourage them to contact City Hall. It's not just a situation where they think a tree's in the right of way and they can carte blanche go cut it down. It may be something the county owns or somebody else owns. So I would encourage just contact City Hall.
They were told to contact the building department.
Yep.
Well, I think the main concern that they had, they're gonna say, they said, okay, so you're gonna replace the sidewalk. 3 years down the road, I'm gonna have the same situation again because the root's gonna grow, they're gonna lift it back up again. And, what I explained it to them that in this program that we have, part of the money that we are paying the contractor is for, removing some of the roots, grinding some of the roots down, so you're not gonna have a problem down the road. So, and then the next question is, well, what about if the tree dies? Well, we're trying to do everything we can to save the tree. But if the tree dies, then we'll cross the bridge when we get there. I said, there's no sense worrying about now because, you have a live tree and let's see what happens. We're trying to do everything we can to save it.
Well, there's one when we get to Berkshire. I'll meet you out at this tree by us down the street. It folded and crushed in the sidewalk the way the roots were going. And more investigation was done by the building department, because we were having a lot of flooding down the street. And they found that it went on this side, and then went on this side, and it never connected. And I think where it went across the street was this house. So we've been trying to, and it's like, the sidewalks dropped because the tree just got it. And I know you're gonna say them, fix it, but.
So needless to say, we're doing everything we can. And I want to remind everyone that we're giving them 3 years if it goes on the tax assessment. And by the way, if that
Oh,
does in
so
fact
they don't have
happen.
to come up with the money right
No,
away.
absolutely. And your first payment
So it's six.
will not be until
it'll
2026.
6 payments starting
I
in
think that was very
2026.
clear to some people maybe.
Yeah.
2026. So it's not like we're dropping a huge bill. Now, there are some outliers that are a little pricey out there, but, you know, we're not trying to hurt people. We're trying to follow our code. And this was spurned by requests from many, many people. So if they ask why council's being so difficult, or the mayor, or the building department, that's not the case. We're following our code.
I personally think from the complaints I've read, both mostly on social media, is perception, right? Perception is they were given a very narrow window to find a contractor to do it, when in reality, we've been trying to tell them since March.
And again, I'm gonna encourage all of you, because you guys get the calls. If people are calling you, have them get a hold of you. And he told you, 60 people, he's been to 51 of them, he's calling them all down. He's the one that's is the SME, so let's let him be the SME, please, instead of so we don't misspeak. Not that you guys don't know what's going on,
Absolutely.
but I'd rather have it be
Yeah.
neat and clean from the same person
Yep.
every single time. And he's very good at what he does, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, you've done a really great job handling all this, especially just having stepped into it.
He walked in the fire.
Yeah.
By the way, I had a map and, you know, like a little presentation for tonight for the next phase, but, you know, again, due to the fact that I thought that we were gonna have some people here that may be upset, I didn't wanna upset some more by, you know, putting more on it for next year. So
Well, stuff,
I
you
didn't
know.
think it was a good time, so I think.
I think, Mayor, is something like you just said about how it's gonna be broken up over 6 payments over 3 years. That's something that needs to really be more of a headline. You know, I don't know if any of us knew it. I knew it was going on the tax duplicate. I didn't realize it was gonna be over 3 years.
Well, again, this is all worked out.
Yeah.
Interest free, and a lot of those people, if they sell the house 2 years down the road, then somebody else is gonna make the payments.
So there you go.
And there will be future legislation reflecting what you guys are talking about,
Okay.
so.
And in phase 2 and 3, can we, and it sounds like you're already trying to do that, can we give the resident a larger window to find their own contractor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's what
Well, again,
Yeah,
that letter
that's what-
started
I know it did.
back in March. I mean, this is not like we dropped them and gave them 30 days. That was not the case. They've been aware of this for quite some time.
Yep.
The only difference is they actually attached a cost this time, which that
Right.
was, people were shocked by.
Yep.
So the people on Shepherd are not gonna, or on, the school are not gonna want sidewalks.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about it. I had the same thought.
I don't
I'm
think
like,
anyone's gonna want
I don't know if people are
sidewalks.
gonna want to.
I don't want
deal with
Good evening and welcome to the July 25th council meeting. It is 7:30 PM. Will Mr. Hoover please call the roll?
Ms. Brandt.
Here.
Mr. Garbus.
Here.
Ms. Tully.
Here.
Mr. Ventura.
Here.
Now I ask Chaplain O'Brien to lead us to the invocation and the pledge. Please stand.
Your Honor, esteemed council members and fellow citizens, as we gather here this evening, let us first reflect on the responsibilities entrusted to each of us to serve this community with diligence and integrity. May our discussions be guided by wisdom and compassion, ensuring that every decision made here this evening contributes positively to the well-being and progress of our city and its citizens. Let us take a moment to acknowledge the diversity that enriches our community. In deliberations, may we embrace inclusivity, respecting the perspectives and experiences of all those who call Macedonia their home. May our actions today reflect our commitment to justice, equality, and the common good, fostering an environment where everyone can thrive and contribute to the vibrant tapestry of our community. As we commence this meeting, let us hold in our hearts the collective aspirations to make decisions that honor the past, serve the present, and secure a brighter future for generations to come. Amen.
Amen.
And now with hand over heart, our mayor will now lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Now for the fun part of the meeting. Celebrity journal? If you can, if you can. She can. Now, a little bit of that question. She's not from all of us. Hold on. Tell me a story. I got a proclamation for you today I'd like to read, if you don't mind. And it reads, whereas, and forgive me, your last name is pronounced Ann J. Kuste was born July 11th, 1924 to Michael and Victoria Dearwall in Cleveland, Ohio, and has graced this world with her presence for a century. And whereas Ann married John Kuste May 8th, 1947, and together they raised two daughters, Susan Parmasic and Vicki Bowens. And whereas Ann has been a cherished mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, sharing her life stories and homemade soups with her 5 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, and they call her the boss of applesauce. We'll talk about that. For the love of her homemade sauce. And whereas Ann's early career included working for a doctor in his home during her teenage years, a unique connection that continues to this day, with her now being a patient of his grandson. And whereas Ann's commitment extended beyond her immediate family, volunteering as a noodle maker at the First Hungarian Reformed Church for many years, and actively participating in Masonic organizations alongside her husband, where they form lifelong friendships and cherish memories from their travels. And whereas Ann's passion for shopping remains vibrant, that's a little scary, whether exploring stores or finding joy in the simple pleasures of life. Now, therefore, I, Nick Molnar, Mayor of the City of Macedonia, Ohio, along with the entire City Council, do hereby take the official note of your joyous occasion of Ms. Kuste's 100th birthday and celebrate her for her strength, kindness, and lifelong devotion to family and faith. Congratulations.
Do you hear the Hungarian portion?
I met my husband in 1946. We dated for 2 years, and then we got married in 1948. Along came 2 girls, and the family grew. I was a babysitter for a couple of my great-grandkids, which was fun. Or even with my grandchildren. I used to pick them up from school, take them to their sports, and they kept me going. Then in 2002, I lost my husband. And I lived with my daughter Vicky in Macedonia. I lived in Garfield Heights for quite a while. And then Vicky passed away and my son-in-law kept me. So I lived with my son-in-law. God bless him. I worked for a while for a company called RBW. They were a fastener company. So I ran the drill press, I ran a milling machine, punch press. And then at the end, they promoted me and I became a statistician in the wire department. This is very good. And now I'm getting their pension, which isn't very much. It helps. So every little bit helps. And that's about it. Oh, I like to travel. Every year I go to Florida for 3 weeks. I've been on many cruises. On one I had a heart attack. Well, they flew me to Miami and I stayed in the hospital 10 days. That was in 1997. And came home to Cleveland and the doctor here gave me 2 stents. And then in 2000, I had another stent. And in 2012, I had my 4th stent. And I'm still here kicking. My son-in-law is here, my granddaughter, my grandson, my great-grandson, and great-granddaughter. And she brought a couple of friends. And Colin brought a friend. And my daughter's husband, my neighbor came here. Christy Young and her daughter. And you're Hungarian, aren't you?
I am half.
My husband was Hungarian.
What gave it away? What gave it away?
Don't give it away, hold on. Grandson Brian Bibbo. And I had a lovely party at the First Hungarian Reformed Church. I had about 150 people. It was very nice. I was surprised. My granddaughter and her husband put it up. My son-in-law. So I have good neighbors in that city.
I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully they're nice to you, right?
And many years ago, there was a big swimming pool on Old North Valley.
Fell Lake, yeah.
Oh, Fell Lake, yes. And I used to go there quite a bit, take the kids. We had a lot of fun at Fells Lake. I felt bad that they sold it.
A lot of people do.
It was a nice
It
place.
was, it was fun.
A lot of times I would stop at Kenny King's and get the chicken. Have a little cookout.
That's a popular one. I hear about Kenny King's a lot.
No, it wasn't Kenny King's.
Mr. Chicken.
It had other chickens.
Mr. Chicken.
Mr. Chicken.
Mr. Chicken.
What's the applesauce secret?
Yeah, what's the applesauce secret? I want to hear that.
Oh, well, I'd get apples and peel them and cook it up. I left a little chunky in there. And the kids would come over, I'm telling you, sometimes I'd have to almost make a peck. By the foot roll. Love the applesauce. One liked spaghetti and meatball. And the other one is stuffed cabbage. So they kept me busy.
Stuff cabbage too.
don't you thank everyone here for listening to me?
You deserve it after 100 years.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing a good job.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
Macedonia, they keep the neighborhoods real clean, and they bring in quite a few shopping centers, stores, you know, good for business. I had a ride a couple times in their ambulance.
I'm glad we can help you.
I think it was twice. So you do a Hoosier.
You seem to like that.
And you used to live on Robinson.
My grandparents, Grace and Gina lived on Robinson, right by the park.
They were our neighbors. Our neighbors.
How nice.
I brought everything up.
Mayor,
So at election time.
can I ask him what's the secret of longevity and sharpness?
Apparently it's 4 stints.
4. Yeah, eating a lot of apples.
He was a no officer or nothing, just his friends were. And from Buckeye, you know. I
Buckeye.
Judges and. So it was
Buckeye
nice.
Road.
Charlie Manning, I knew him. He gave me the Bill of Rights in parchment paper, which I treasure today. And I went to visit Washington DC a few times.
You want to run for council?
She's retired. It's time for cruising.
So I'll leave you with this then. We do have a senior center here, I don't know if you're aware of that. On Wednesdays and Fridays, we have hot lunches for $4. We have senior trips where if you come here, there's bus trips that take you all over. It seems to be a hit. It's pretty amazing. And the best part of my story is this. There was a prominent member of the community, and we had 2 folks down there, because I usually join for lunch on Fridays, because it's kind of fun. And 2 people turned 100 on that day. And the prominent member, I'll leave that person's name, just walked up to the gentleman, and this is not a joke. He's 100, he says, you know, what's your secret? How'd you get to 100? The guy goes, well, I got music in my heart. He starts singing a song. The guy has an amazing voice. I was like, wow, that's awesome. He walks over to the lady, he goes, you know, what's your secret to getting 100? She turned and looked at him and she goes, if I could take a pill to end this now, I would. And I was like, you do not seem to be that type of person. Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. And if anything I can do to help you in the future, like I said, we have a lot of good senior activities, and there's a lot of people that go to that. So if you want to get involved in that, let me know. It was very nice to meet you.
I would like to know who's your name.
I cannot tell you. That's a secret. But thank you. It was nice to have you. You guys don't have to stay for the meeting. That's really
Yeah. I hear that a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Bring Grandma.
The extra noodle man.
Catch up to her.
She knew the last year?
good call. That was a good one. Okay, next on the agenda is approval of minutes from Thursday, June 13th, 2024.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the Thursday, June 13th, 2024 regular council meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on our agenda is the public comments. I ask that you come to the microphone here, state your name and address. We ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. And first on our list is Aaron Markovey. Markovey, I'm sorry.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here. I represent NOPEC, the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council. I'm here tonight because of the PACE transaction that you all were discussing earlier. I wanted to, first of all, be able to be here to answer any questions. I would like to especially thank your law director, finance director, all of the staff, Mayor Molnar, and the rest of council for, first of all, allowing us to be able to broach the subject with you all, and then secondly, being able to be so open for it. We find at NOPEC that economic development is easily one of the best ways to be able to help foster the communities that are part of our council. And we know that Macedonia for a long time has been a very proud member of the council and has taken advantage of the aggregation, taken advantage of grants and some of the other programs that we offer. PACE financing is and can be transformative for many, many communities. The state of Ohio, believe it or not, is second only to California, which is a much larger economy in terms of PACE financing. There's over $24 billion under PACE management somewhere in Ohio. It's a large, large amount of money. We at NOPEC realized that small businesses and certainly smaller communities needed to have a program that was designed for small and medium-sized businesses, not just skyscrapers and stadiums. So we designed our PACE program and our USDA lending program to be able to do just that. We're very happy that this project in the Macedonia Commons is happening, and we're very proud to be able to help finance it. And we just want to, again, sincerely thank the City Council for entertaining the motion in the first place, and all of the city staff to be able to help us work through it. One of the questions that I often get, because we speak to virtually every council out of the dozens and dozens of PACE transactions that we administer, is it going to cost the city anything? After tonight, now that you've looked at all of this, the answer is no. I can assure you of that, and I know that all of your other staff has pointed that out already. But should there be a question in anyone that new comes on council and you would like a refresher or you need us to answer questions, we will always be here to be able to do that. Our office is always open to answer these kinds of questions. So again, I just want to express our gratitude on behalf of myself, on behalf of our executive director and CEO, on behalf of our board, if I could be so bold, Mayor Molnar, and expressing our gratitude for being able to be here. And it's an honor to be able to supply energy to the thriving community of Macedonia, and especially being able to do some of these fun programs in economic development. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, next up is Jose Delgado. Anything you'd like to add, sir? This is the face of NOPEC. If you haven't seen the commercials, you will see Jose on the commercials.
Yeah, and that's not why I'm here.
He wanted to make another appearance.
Yeah, exactly. No, just as your former relationship manager and moved on into economic development, and not to reiterate everything Aaron said, but yeah, as NOPEC as a whole, we are here to support your communities, from the aggregation to residents to small businesses and the municipality in and of itself. So to Aaron's coattails to say that any questions regarding that, along with Aaron, look at NOPEC as our team, as a resource for all you to leverage any questions you may have, and we're here to support you. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Hannah Kelling.
Hello, thank you so much for having me and for putting on such a wonderful car cruise before coming over here. I'm actually emotional tonight. I lost my last grandparent in May, and my grandpa was a car show guy, and my grandma was a storyteller. So I feel very connected to them here in Macedonia tonight, so thank you for both experiences. I am the Southwest Field Director for the Western Reserve Land Conservancy, so my name is Hannah Kelling, and I'm here to lend some context to Resolution 57, which is on the agenda tonight, in support of the Natural Areas Land Conservancy protecting 115 acres of green space here in Macedonia. Just to put it into context, it's directly east of Route 8 and directly south of Highland Road, so right kind of tucked away in behind the development there. Western Reserve Land Conservancy has protected over 70,000 acres over the course of our tenure since 2006, and fee title acquisition is just one of the ways that we do that. Most of those acres are actually still privately owned, but they're under conservation easement. So we've done a lot of work with farmers and with private residences throughout Northeast Ohio and North Central Ohio. This project in particular, we've been working on for about 5 years to try to protect this piece, which is really high quality wetland habitat and forest habitat, just kind of tucked away in a forgotten kind of corner of Macedonia. So it's been our pleasure to work on it right now. We're trying to publicly fundraise for it. So that effort has brought us to the Ohio Public Works Commission's Green Space Conservation Program. And the Green Space Program, Clean Ohio, recognizes that public participation is a very important aspect of spending public dollars. And so that requires us to come in front of the city council, in front of the township, and then in front of the county to ask for resolutions of support and have an opportunity to share that with you and answer any questions you might have about the project. So that's what brings us here today. We're seeking a resolution of support for those funding dollars, and the deadline is September 13th for that application. So we're trying to get ahead of ourselves a little bit, get all our ducks in a row, and make sure we have everything we need before that application. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'm not sure if it's in your packets. I was reviewing it before coming here tonight, and I didn't see it, but I have copies in case you need it, and would be happy to provide those for you.
Copy of your grant proposal?
Of the resolution of support.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
We have the full.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Great.
Well, how much of a grant are you going for?
I can't share the specific amount because the purchase price is confidential, but I can say it's in the 7 figures.
Okay.
Yep.
You said that you also have to go to the township. Does part of this property border Northfield Center Company?
Yes, there's one landlocked parcel that just so happens to be in Northfield Center. So I think their meeting's on the 5th of August, and we'll head there next.
Well, thank you for all your help. You've been great and very descriptive, and she spent a lot of time in our park, so I like that too.
Yeah, I'm very sweaty. I went running there before I came here, so no handshakes, please. Yeah.
Well, we're glad that you enjoyed your day in Macedonia.
I did very much. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay, any correspondence from the clerk?
No, sir.
Pending a new legislation, starting with ordinance 43.
Yes, I offer ordinance 43, 2024 for its first reading only. I'm at a loss for the rest of the word.
By title.
By title.
An ordinance amending Chapter 505 of the codified ordinances of the City of Macedonia regarding cats.
Ordinance number 44.
Does anyone want to speak on? Should we speak on that at all?
I think it speaks to itself, but Mark, anything you want to, or Director Goodetti, anything you want to add?
No, other than this is essentially adding cats into the animals at large ordinance, and it also adds cats into the prohibition on feeding wild animals that currently exist within the city.
Thank you. Ordinance 44.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 44, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Kimball for automated residential solid waste collection, disposal, and recycling services for a 5-year period beginning December 1st, 2024.
Director Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is from our solid waste trash and recycle bid. Bid opening took place on July 1st at noon. We had 2 companies come to the table, Waste Management and Kimball. My recommendation is that Kimball was the lowest and best. Kimball came with an offer that did not change the contract whatsoever, really doesn't change anything that we have currently. The price increase seems minimal compared to normal inflation as it is today. Waste Management did, their bid was higher, and then they also offered an alternate contract, changed the contract quite a bit. So I recommend that council approves Kimball as the next trash and recycle hauler.
And just for the public's sake, we have to go out to bid when we do these types of things, so we fully anticipate a cost to be increased. That was not something that's coming as a surprise to anybody. But I think the numbers that came through are fairly reasonable given the cost of everything in the world today. So I'm a little bit pleased that it wasn't as high as I thought it was going to be. And essentially, I think you mentioned it, everything remains the same that we get today, we get tomorrow. It's just a different company, so.
Even the pickup days.
Pickup days remain the same. It's all in the contract. I shouldn't say we, Director Wilson, and I'm sure with Director Gaddetti, put a lot of time and effort into the contract and what we wanted and expected from either the same or a new contractor for our trash. So I think it worked out well, and I appreciate what you guys have done with that. Thank you.
And you get new trash cans.
You'll get new trash cans because it's a new company, yes. And we'll figure out the pickup of the old ones somehow, some way. I'm sure they'll want their stuff back, so we'll figure that out.
So we give them to the new trash company.
I don't know if that'll go well.
And presuming that this passes tonight, it starts December 1st?
December 1st, correct.
Yes. Thank you.
Just for Christmas.
Yep. And if anyone has questions, please contact Director Wilson in his office, and he'll be able to answer any questions, and we'll take it from there. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 44, 2024.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 44 carries. Ordinance number 45.
Mayor, I offer ordinance number 45, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract with Ohio Paving and Construction Co., Inc. for the Longwood Park Driveway Improvements Project in the city of Macedonia.
Director Chaddick.
I'll speak to it if you like. This is to award the paving contract to pave the driveway at Longwood Park as well as the driveways to the main rec center parking lot, clean up some drainage issues that we have there as well. Work scheduled for this fall.
Anything you'd like to add, Director Chaddick?
Yes, the work will take place between the end of summer camp and Fall Fest.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move that we pass ordinance number 44, 2024 and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 45 carries. Ordinance number 46.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance 46, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance authorizing the mayor to purchase a new ambulance from Horton Emergency Vehicles for the city of Macedonia Fire Department.
Mr. Natale.
Thank you, Mayor. This is asking for funding to purchase a new ambulance/rescue squad for the fire department to help alleviate some aging vehicles we have and to eventually replace what is being overworked at the moment.
When do you anticipate receiving this vehicle?
So if we order it now, 2025, we'll receive the vehicle in 2027. Unknown what month that would be though.
So we're trying to get ahead of it essentially.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, we need it.
We're trying.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I would move that we post and pass according to law ordinance 46, 2024.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 46 carries. Ordinance number 47.
Yes, Mayor, I offer ordinance number 47, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract with Signorama, Inc. for Phase 2 of the citywide signage project.
So essentially, we're replacing all the entrances, exit signs into the community. The ones that we have are, I've said this so many times, I feel like I'm just saying it over and over, but the retro reflective 90s-esque, just very dated, not the image of Macedonia I think we want to have anymore. I think we're, with our beautification of our community and, you know, the flowers and just the welcoming things, we want to make sure that when you come into our community, you feel that welcome and you know where you are, and it's going to be something that will last for 50 years. And I say this every time, but these signs will outlive everyone in this room. So it would be nice to have those and put something up that we don't have to repair all the time. They're going to be brick, follows the Western Reserve styling like everything else we have. So I think it'd be a nice addition to our community. Any further discussion? Oh, I may add also that this is within the budget, so this is not something we just dropped today. We've been
The 5-year plan.
We've been working on this for a couple of years. This has been a lot of work just for signs. You'd be surprised, right, Director Gelati?
You would be surprised. Also a sign for Longwood Manor as well.
If you've worked with engineers and architects, you know things take time. You learn patience really, really quickly. That's not a dig either. That's
Thank
for
you.
good reason.
They're doing it right.
There was a compliment in there somewhere.
That was a compliment.
You got dick
Hope you
for it.
caught it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I'd like to take ordinance 47, 2024, and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 47 carries. Ordinance number 48.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 48, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract with Specialized Construction, Inc. for the Walters Road resurfacing project.
Director Chaddick, I'm kidding. Director Gelati.
This is the legislation to award the contract to pave Walters Road, south of Twinsburg Road. It's a joint project with our neighbors, Northfield Center Township. The project is also funded 50% through OPWC, and work scheduled to take place later this summer.
Long time coming, had a lot of complaints about that area. I think Mrs. Tully even talked about that on a number of occasions, so thank you for pushing that forward. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 48, 2024, please.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 48 carries. Resolution 49.
Mayor, I'd like to ask that we read Resolution 49, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An emergency resolution authorizing the mayor to approve the Kroger settlement as part of the national opioid litigation settlements pursuant to the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding and consistent with the material terms of the July 12, 2021 proposed national opioid settlement agreement.
Director Gaddetti.
So Mayor, this is similar to the prior opioid settlement that council has approved. This one is with Kroger specifically. It's under the One Ohio MOU, the MOU, but called a program as part of the national opioid settlement litigation. The long and short of it is over the course of 10 years, the city will get a relatively small amount of proceeds to help use in combating the ongoing opioid epidemic.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Move that we pass Resolution 49, 2024 and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 49 carries. Resolution 50.
Mayor, I'd like to offer Resolution 50, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
A resolution authorizing the mayor to complete the form preliminary participation legislation as required by ODOT, giving consent for ODOT's certain intersection improvements for project Some Highland Valley View Road, PID number 113161.
Director Gelati.
Yeah, this is generally a housekeeping item to allow the project to go forward. The only real note, as we discussed earlier, is that the construction for this project will actually be administered by ODOT, not by ourselves as a city. That's it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I would move that we pass and post Resolution 50, 2024.
Post the same according to law?
Exactly.
I'll help you out.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Absolutely, yes.
Opposed? Resolution 50 carries. Resolution number 51.
Yes, Mayor, I offer Resolution number 51, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An emergency resolution adopting the 2024 Summit County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan.
So this is just reviewing and updating the existing plan that we have with the county. There's an emergency, there's a mitigation plan that they go through. The police chief, the law director, and I have read through it and didn't see anything that was glaringly apparent of major changes, so the administration is in favor of pushing this forward. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I offer Resolution 51, 2024, and ask the same to be adopted and posted according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 51 carries. Resolution number 52.
Mayor, I'd like to offer resolution number 52, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
A resolution authorizing the Director of Parks and Recreation to prepare plans, bids, and specifications, and further authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids for the Recreation Center renovation and improvement project.
Director Chaddick, do you want to take this one?
Thank you, Mayor. I can handle this one.
Okay, great.
This project is part of our pre-planned capital that Director Veras has been great about planning for us as we move forward. So we will couple two renovation projects together as one. It will be the conversion of the old women's locker room into a family changing room that would host individual pods within it, as well as a big open area, and remove the front desk that is on the second floor. Not to be confused with the lower level one. The second floor front desk, remove that and install 3 new offices that would then provide us security up in the upstairs area, which is currently not secured.
Thank you, and I'll also add that we paused the family changing area when we did the addition to the rec center. I think you came on right at the end of that, correct?
So yeah, so the men's locker room ended up taking an extra year. So we paused that, and the men's locker room opened February of 2020, and we all know what happened in March of 2020. So then in 22, we had a discussion and decided for membership and for the kind of revitalization of the center, it was more important for us to do some internal remodeling because we didn't have the immediate need for the family changing room. So that's when we actually did all the flooring projects. And then we now said in 24, we were going to complete the family changing room.
Yeah, we wanted to take a breather from construction. That was a lot, but thanks to Director Veras and his 5-year planning, along with the administration and everyone else, it makes it a lot easier to look forward and show what the funds are for what we're going to do moving forward. So thank you for all that as well. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move that we pass resolution 52, 2024 and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 52 carries. Resolution number 53.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer resolution number 53, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An emergency resolution declaring the necessity and intention to appropriate for street purposes certain fees simple interest in and to various premises along Valley View Road and Highland Road to facilitate its widening and restructuring, including drainage improvements, additional traffic control lanes, and traffic control signals at the intersection thereof, further identified as PID number 113161, with the county route section number some Highland Valley View Road.
Director Gelati, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a long one. So Highland Valley View intersection again, in order to widen the road to accommodate the new turn lanes, as you can imagine, we need to acquire strips of property along the front of all of the properties at this intersection. 4 of the properties we have yet to reach an agreement with to obtain those strips of property, so this piece of legislation will allow us to go to the appropriation process, which basically means the project can move forward and we will settle with those 4 property owners at a later time.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask that we pass and post according to law resolution number 53, 2024, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 53 carries. Resolution number 54.
Mayor, I'd like to offer Resolution 54, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An emergency resolution approving the petition for special assessments for special energy improvement projects under Ohio Revised Code, Chapter 1710, and approving the necessity of acquiring, installing, equipping, and improving certain public improvements in the city of Macedonia, Ohio, in cooperation with the Akron Summit County Energy Special Improvement District.
Director Goodetti.
First, I want to commend Council Clerk Hoover reading all the legislative items. Crushing it.
There's 2 more to go.
Yeah, so 54, 55, and 56 are all related to NOPEC and the PACE program that Aaron had spoke about earlier. And essentially what the city's doing, they're acting to secure a loan NOPEC providing for economic development purposes. Is the simplistic way to put it.
It doesn't cost city anything.
Yeah, no financial liability for the city and also no administrative burden on the city's part either.
Any further discussion?
Are we allowed to say which property this is for?
Yes.
This is for the B&B theaters, it's in the legislation. But the PACE loan's going to be used for technological or energy-related things, and this is part of that, so. I think it's a pretty neat thing, considering it's a low-interest loan. I believe it's at 3%, so. Nice little thing that NOPEC offers to help our communities out.
Really makes these economic development projects happen, essentially.
Yeah, very helpful. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I move that we pass and post according to law Resolution 54, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 54 carries. Ordinance number 55.
Yes, Mayor, I offer ordinance 55, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An emergency ordinance determining to proceed with the acquisition, installation, equipment, and improvement of certain public improvements in the city of Macedonia, Ohio, in cooperation with the Akron Summit County Energy Special Improvement District.
So 55 and 56 are all related to 54. It's kind of the legal mumbo jumbo, unless there's anything else you want to add to that one?
Yeah, no, I mean, the first one's approving the petition. As you can see, the second one is determining to proceed with the actual improvements that are the basis for the loan. And then the third one is actually that you're going to consider next is actually implementing the assessment.
Okay, thank you. Everybody got that? Repeat it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I offer ordinance 55, 2024 and move to adopt it and post same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 55 carries. Ordinance number 56.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 56, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An emergency ordinance levying special assessments for the purpose of acquiring, installing, equipping, and improving certain public improvements in the city of Macedonia, Ohio, in cooperation with the Akron Summit County Energy Special Improvement District, and approving an energy project cooperative agreement, special assessment agreement, and a supplement to a standing payment agreement in connection with such improvements and special assessments.
Any further discussion on that? And good job, Mr. Hoover. I'll second Mr. Guidetti's statement. And what is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 56, 2024, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 56 carries. Resolution number 57.
Mayor, I'd like to offer Resolution 57, 2024 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution in support of the Natural Areas Land Conservancy's application efforts to secure green space conservation funding through the Clean Ohio Fund to purchase and permanently protect the Brandywine Marsh Preserve property located in Macedonia, Ohio.
So this is, again, this conservancy by Empire Parkway. Ms. Kelling kind of referenced that in the public comments. Was there any further discussion or comments regarding that? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I'd move that we pass and post according to law Resolution 57, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 57 carries. Thank you. Any other motions or legislative actions? Hearing none, we'll move right into the mayor's report. I want to say to folks out there that if you're experiencing any issues that are city related, the best way to rectify those problems is to either call or email City Hall. What we're finding is a lot of times there's things that are happening where, you know, the social media channels get moving or other things. The best way to deal with things, and anyone that's known me or worked with me or had a problem, or even anyone council, is to just bring it to us. Going to other avenues is going to complicate things. If you bring it directly to us, we're going to give you a direct answer, whether it's the answer you want to hear or not. But I can tell you 95% of the time, I think we walk away in good friendships as opposed to someone being angry. So I'm pleading with everyone that if you have a problem, bring it to us. That's what we're here for. We're here to serve you. We have a great staff here. We have a wonderful group of directors. We have an amazing set of counselors here that are more than willing to help you at any given time. But bring it to us. Let us help you. That's the best way to deal with the problem. If questions about our programs or anything that we have going on, call us up, email us, let me know what I could do to help. So I'm pleading with everyone to do it that way because we're seeing things go in the wrong directions, and I just don't understand that. Maybe that's a societal thing nowadays, but we're here to help. We're here to serve. Please let us do that. Service building progress. We're going out to bid for demo. It was a complicated process, and I made the joke about engineers taking too long, but it's all for good reason. When you put these things together, there's a lot of pieces and parts that you don't think about. And thankfully, Mr. Gelati was on top of that and found all these little things that, I may not have anticipated, but, I know a little bit about a lot. He knows a lot about engineering, and it's been very helpful to get us to the next step. So I'm telling council, I'm telling the public, 9150 Valley View Road. We'll go out to bid likely for demo in August. We will award potentially that contract in September. This is the first major step that we are actually seeing some movement towards a new service building. The thing that I've been working on for so many years and COVID hurt us and set us back is finally starting to move into a direction that we can move forward. So I fully anticipate, and Mr. July is not going to like this, I want that building down by the end of the year, and I'd like to see by next year progress on a new building being erected. That's ambitious, but I wouldn't be here if I wasn't ambitious. So that's where we stand on the service building progress. Again, all things that are delayed were not as any result of the city. We're really busting our humps to get this thing moving, so just know that that's a high priority. It's kind of a big one, and I didn't get a chance to talk to Mr. Chaddock before the meeting, but I'm gonna unpause Fall Fest. At this point, I think we're gonna move forward. We've had enough conversations. We're gonna continue to have a lot of conversations, and I want the public to know that we take safety very, very seriously. The things that happen at Summerfest are still being talked about. We're gonna continue to move forward and think about those things and work on Summerfest for next year. The focus right now, we had a car show today. You're talking to a car guy, I was there, I flew there, flew home, took a shower, came here, and I made it. I made it on time, I did them all. But it was an amazing event. I mean, there's a lot of people there, a lot of cars. It seemed like everyone had a good time, and it was a nice event to see people come out, have that confidence in us that we can put on events, you can go there, you can be safe, and I'll be damned if I don't make sure that everyone goes there and is safe every time, every event we have. So thank you for everyone that came to it. We ran out of parking, couldn't even park all the cars. I saw a lot of pretty cool hot rods pulling in, and I love that smell, which is probably why I'm still stuffy right now. But it was pretty cool to see that, but we had to turn some folks away. So again, I'm unpausing Fall Fest, so it's on. We're gonna do it. Last but not least, well, second last but not least, on July 24th, it was Director Veras' birthday, so I want to wish you a very happy birthday again in front of everyone, and thank you for all you do for us.
Thank you, Mayor.
Was it your 100th birthday?
99.
And please don't drive distracted. Put the phones down, drive the car. The most important thing you can do is drive your, oh, heck yeah.
That's for you.
Phones down, it's the law. We take this very seriously around here, and I really mean that. It's a big deal to me. I say it every time, and I will say it as long as I have the pleasure of sitting in this seat and representing you. Put the phones down, drive the car. It's so dangerous. Please stop doing that. And with that, I'll move into committee reports.
Parks and Rec Commission had our July meeting last Wednesday. We went over again to really shore up our list of projects we would like to see in the near future and the far future and even the farther flung future. We're really cohesive as a group as to what we're looking to do. There's some projects coming up that we hope to back and then get the backing of council for working on the rec center and furthering some construction within Longwood Park. So that is what the group is working on now. Our next meeting is the third Wednesday in August, which is the 21st. The meeting will be upstairs at 6 o'clock in the meeting room. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you.
Okay, I have the finance meeting will be held on Thursday, September 12th, time to be determined when our council president sets the agenda. And we will go over eight months of financial reporting and the referencing to the continuation of the 5-year plan by Mr. Veras.
Thank you. Department reports. Director Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank council for your quick approval of the trash contract. That helps us move along. I'll be able to work with Kimball and the public and get everything more squared away quickly. thank Director Goudet for all his help. Really give him a lot of credit for helping put together the bid document. I've been busy with a lot of interviews. Seems like anymore we have to interview a lot of people to try to fill positions. We've had 2 positions in it. Then you have a lot of people not showing up for interviews. I don't know what the deal is with that anymore, but so I do think we have 2 people locked in who are going to be starting soon within the coming weeks. So excited about that. I've been having a lot of meetings with companies, one in particular, Samsara, that will do GPS tracking on our snow trucks, but also put forward-facing cameras in our snow trucks to help protect the drivers. And it's going to give us we'll be able to look back, be able to see, if there was an accident, really to protect us and our drivers. I showed an example in a staff meeting a while back of an ODOT truck that was hit. He was sitting still, not doing anything wrong, and he was hit. So, this is something that I think is a long time coming, and a lot of cities are going to this, so we're excited about that. Another thing I've been working on is CDL training in-house, doing it in-house instead of sending people away to get their CDL. It was costing us quite a bit of money, in the thousands of dollars for every employee that we'd send to get their CDL. We've jumped through some hoops and had to figure out how to register as a training facility and that kind of thing with the federal government and all that. But thanks to some of my colleagues at other cities I've worked with and just people I've talked to, I've learned it's not as bad as I thought, and I think we can do it, so we're working on that, and high hopes that's going to take off, and we'll be able to save that money. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one point. Could we, now that we know that we're going to change trash providers, could we start advertising that in social media and start putting that out to the residents right away?
I wanted to wait until you all actually passed it before I say something.
Yeah, the contract's not.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah.
So once you all approved it, it was my green light to start communicating.
Got it.
Yeah. Director Gelati.
Yeah, thank you. So, road paving work currently going on. Work is complete on Deepwood, Bendleton, and Sensory. Work currently going on along Riverview, Lawton, Cessna, Apache, and Blackhawk. And Riverview is now reopened to 2-way traffic. End of report.
Thank you. Director Chaddock.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's see. So unlike the mayor, I actually drove to the car cruise today. I didn't fly. However, it was a really good event. I got there in the latter half of the event, so then I could swing into council. We had about 183 cars, and that does not include the cars we had to turn away that we didn't have space for. So huge event, really nice to see. A lot of great cars there. Coming up now as we kind of move forward to August, Thursday, August 8th, we'll have Touch a Truck. So we're excited about that event. The first hour, I think it's 5 to 7:30. The first hour will be a sensory hour, so no sirens, no horns, no lights. So that way we can get everybody involved in the event. And then, as we do, we adapt and overcome in Parks and Recreation. So we will be hosting Fall Fest Saturday, September 21st. I think we start that at 5 o'clock and we'll go till 9 o'clock at night for that event. So we'll start putting together the advertisement for that. So thank you, Mayor, for unpausing so we can move forward on that. And right now we're concluding our HVAC project. All the units are up and running. There's been some adjustments made on the dehumidification units because it's sized so big that they actually had to get some different parts to help with the airflow process for within the aquatics area. Then we'll get to the computer system stuff next week. And then the pool deck, we have a couple minor things we're working on there as far as some touch-ups from the construction project that went on. But other than that, we're moving forward. Summer programming will conclude August 16th, and fall programming, ironically, will begin August 12th with practices for the fall sports. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
And outside of my car, if I had to pick a winner, the 66 black GTX with the 446 pack was oh so sweet. Sorry, I had to put that in there. Director Veras.
Whatever that means, Mayor. I don't know.
You live in the numbers world, I'll live in the motors world, that's fine. Thanks, Mr. Natale.
All right, July 15th has passed, so unless you have a extension with Rita, you can no longer submit a resident refund form. Happy to announce we did find a replacement, or I should say a candidate, because Kelsey's moving over to HR. Accounts Receivable Administrator, Lexi Hall, who's actually a Macedonia resident, will start on August 2nd. End of my report.
Thank you. Director Collins.
Thank you, Mayor. 48 helped us tickets since the last meeting. Major projects, some leads upgrades for the police department to meet some upcoming leads requirements, and new credit card machines at the rec center. Thank you. End of report.
That actually tap. We are high
Yes,
technology. I'll tell you what,
we can take
we have
all
come a
your
long
cards.
way here.
Yep, it's great. We do, yes.
Wow.
It's just NFC,
We
so
are so
it all uses NFC. So we can Samsung Pay, Google Pay, Apple Pay.
That's what I thought.
Tap on your card if you have it. Yeah, we can take it all now,
Very cool.
and that's all going to go through the same credit card processing system, whether it's online or in person. And the fees are going to be lower for the city, and it's going to be cleaner for the finance department. And if you guys do appreciate that, make sure you thank Cindy Funk over at the rec center, because it was kind of her baby, and I just helped kick it over the finish line for her. So thank you.
Commissioner Monaco.
Thank you, Mayor. The most asked question in the city is, when is B&B Theater opening up? The short answer will be between the 15th and 17th of August, if everything goes well. We're in the process of demolishing the house at 1250 East Twinsburg Road. The house is actually demolished. We're just doing the final cleanup. The junk cars have been removed from the property. We're still working on the BB station. We just found out that in the past, we cited the wrong people. We cited the renters, and they have no authority to knock the property on somebody else's land. So we are going back to square one now and cite actually the actual owner of the property. We are in the process of hiring an assistant building commissioner. We advertised the position. We had 17 candidates, and we're in the process now picking the best candidate and bring him in for an interview. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Lieutenant Natale.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to report a little more than half the year gone. Fire department has approximately 2,575 calls, EMS calls, fire and miscellaneous calls, and counting. Recent calls I'd like to touch on is the January 27th of the fire with the diesel tanker. We were reimbursed from their insurance company, which included police, fire, and service department wages and any supplies that we used at that scene. Also, we had July 1st, the house fire at 8377 Valley View down by Twinsburg Road. It came in at 5 in the morning. Unfortunately, the house is a total loss, but the good news is the occupant and his dog got out safely. But I would like to take the time to emphasize the importance of having working smoke detection. You know, there was no active smoke detectors in that house, and I think that could have notified him a lot sooner, and that fire would have been as bad, possibly. July 9th, we had a small fire in the kitchen at First Watch. It was caused by a broken gas main behind the stove. No damage really, but it was shut down for a day. The health department and our fire inspection had it opened up the next day. We had a fire at Fuji Japanese Restaurant in the Commons on the 21st of this month, and that came in about 8:20 in the afternoon or the evening. It was also a kitchen fire, and when the fire department got there, all they had was a water flow. There was no kind of alarms, fire alarms going off like that. They had a fire in the kitchen where something must have fallen on the cook surface or grill and caught fire to the kitchen. And luckily, the kitchen was sprinklered, and that sprinkler kept a lot of damage or spreading to other units in that facility. And lastly, we just had the wires down on Highland and 8. There was a semi-truck that went through the intersection and somehow caught overhead wires and broke poles and pulled high power lines down, secondary lines down, data. There was businesses without power, and I just want to say that police, fire, and service worked very well together to control the traffic in almost rush hour, and we kept it flowing, and there was no more injuries, and we had, I believe the road opened up 12 hours later, working with a power company. End of report. Thank you.
Well, the key to that is everyone was safe, and I'll add to the Route 8 thing that ODOT had a big hand in that too. So, you know, we want to make sure everyone's safe.
Yep.
I know it's annoying. Unfortunately, I don't know where to place the blame on this yet, but everyone wants to blame us for stopping traffic. But, you know, if your life's on the line or something's dangerous, you're not going to be driving through there. And if that upsets you, sorry. So thank you for all you guys did. I appreciate police, fire, and service for doing that. I know service jumped on that quick with the new trailer that we have with all the emergency equipment on it. It was nice to see them get out there quickly and get that set up and set up a zone. So thank you. Chief Yakupovich.
Thank you, Mayor. Since our last meeting, we've hired another full-time patrol officer, Richard Quantrell. He comes to us directly out of the academy, but we're very excited to have him. We've also hired another full-time dispatcher, Kara Coach, and Kara has 3 years previous experience, so we're real happy to have her, and that's going to help us out a lot. We're also looking to hire additional patrol officers and dispatchers, and a test for the dispatchers will be opening August 1st through the National Testing Network, and information can be found on our website. End of report.
Thank you. Director Goodetti.
No report unless you want me to touch on anything.
I would like for you to talk a little bit about right-of-way and what a right-of-way is, and explain that, because I think there's a lot of confusion with the public, especially now with the sidewalk program going through the building department.
Yeah, so and I'll touch on it quickly. So it's a pretty common misconception or misperception what the right-of-way is. A lot of times property owners think that that's property the city owns. They don't have any maintenance obligations. The city, the township, the county, the state, who all those types of jurisdictions own their own right-of-ways. That it's on them to come fix it. That's simply not the case. If you look at the Ohio Revised Code, we have ordinances going back, or statutes going back at least to the 50s and 60s, giving the ability for local jurisdictions to place those maintenance obligations for the right-of-ways, which in Macedonia, the majority of the right-of-ways are actually property owned by the property owner. It's akin to an easement interest that the city has over those areas. And the city has legislation in place, again, going back to the 50s and 60s, placing the maintenance obligations for the right-of-ways, including sidewalks and including the street trees we were discussing earlier, on those property owners. So, long story short, the property is oftentimes actually owned by a private individual, whether it's a business or a residence, but the city has an interest in a strip typically adjacent to the street, in which the city has the right to put things like utilities, whether it's sewers, sanitary, communication lines, stormwater control measures, things that benefit the public and the neighborhood as a whole can go in that right-of-way, and that's the whole purpose why the right-of-way is reserved for the local jurisdiction. So ultimately, yes, there are some costs typically to the property owners. Big picture, it's relatively nominal, but there is some cost. But the municipality's ability to control right-of-ways and require their maintenance benefits the community as a whole, and helps improve safety and everybody's quality of life.
So if a developer, the city, the property owner, someone 20 years ago or 50 years ago plants a tree in a tree lawn, whose responsibility is that?
Our code, through the revised code, places that obligation on the property owner.
Okay, so regardless of who planted that tree,
Overgrown, correct.
that responsibility is the property owner.
And in Macedonia specifically, and that's why I referenced in the work session, if a resident has a question on their specific tree, contact City Hall. If they live in an HOA, contact the HOA. It may be a situation where maybe it's not the city's tree, maybe it's the HOA's responsibility to maintain it. The facts are different because different developments were put in at different times with different developers, so it's really an analysis that has to take place for each fact pattern. But typically, or I shouldn't say typically, the city's code unequivocally puts the obligation on the property owners to maintain.
But in a HOA, the covenants and restrictions are in addition to the things that we have in place, so that's why you should consult them. And thank you for pointing that out. I actually forgot about that, to consult your HOA, because the city does not get involved in the covenants and restrictions of any HOA. We've had that a number of times over the years. And again, if you've got a question, even if it relates to that, we'll try and answer that for you. Please call us, email us. We'll try and help you any way we can.
One question. For the developments that were built eons ago that do not have sidewalks, what part of it is a city right of way? By the ditch?
Could be none, so it depends on what the dedication plat, if there was one, indicates as a right of way. So again, it's a fact-specific question. So if you live in subdivision X and you want to know where the right of way is at, we would pull, I would probably call Mr. Gelati to pull up the recorded plat and take a look, okay, where is the right of way actually delineated on this plat map?
And a bigger piece to all this that we haven't touched on is you cannot put public dollars on private property. It is illegal. I say this to people all the time. I want people to know you cannot put public dollars on private property. I just want to be very clear about that.
Then how did they have approval to plant all those trees?
They directed the developer at
The
the time.
developer.
Yeah, developer, right?
The city has, there's a lot of authority the city has under its code. Historically, the city had required developers to install those trees as a benefit to the neighborhood. I just read an article today, Cuyahoga County is investing $1 million in trees because it improves the quality of the neighborhood. The city had a similar mindset historically, and that's how a lot of those trees develop, or developers would come in and say, we're putting the subdivision in, we're proposing to put trees all along the street.
Yeah, I know they're doing it big time.
Yeah.
They've been doing it.
So yeah, the city never bought and planted the trees. It was the city directed the developer to buy and plant the trees. Yeah.
What to think about that?
Again, if you got a question, call us up. We'll work with you. We'll answer your questions. So.
Okay, in reference to that, would it behoove us to, when a resident comes to us for anything that is questionable, I think you mentioned, and it was told to me before, that every development could be different, the right of way and where it starts and where it ends. So many feet from the center of the street or from the edge of the roadway or whatever. I think we have to find a way to let the residents know that come in for a permit for something, how much area they got to work with. Because that's not always conveyed, and I think it just makes things a little bit confusing, especially then it goes to the BZA if the building department can't issue that permit, but yet the BZA can say, okay, there is an alternative here. So I don't know if that's an alternative to try to calm down some of these issues.
Well, BZA is for practical difficulties. That's the only way you would go there. So they would have to prove a practical difficulty. But again, I refer to the subject matter expert. I mean, our building commissioner is going to be able to answer those questions. And if he can't, we can consult the law department and engineering department. So it's probably best to just let them try and work on that stuff.
Send them to City Hall.
Come in and see us. We'll figure it out. Make an appointment, please. All right. Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
Any unfinished business? New business?
I just want to say thank you to both the fire department and the police department for their aggressiveness and ability to obtain new employees. Today saw the new guys that were going off for training, and it's nice to hear that we have people coming in, especially dispatchers. I couldn't do that job for
Yeah.
anything in the world. I dealt with incidents that didn't go that far except once. I don't know how they do it, and they keep their count. That one they did today, the call that came in when I was here dropping stuff off. It's just amazing.
They're
how
very-
calm
very special
and
people.
cool they are. Yep. So thank you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
We ever have any?